Welcome to Reactive Reload, a radio show you're always on time for. I'm just one of your hosts, Irish Cowboy, joined by your other host, Crossover. We are going to be reloading the gaming entertainment news for the last week or so and reacting to it. I know. We'll talk about that spicy PS5 showcase reveal and unexpected AF pre-order. Ready or not, there it goes. Get good. You'll hear whether or not Cross and I will be rocking Hefner robes at Hogwarts. And brr, it's cold in here. Blizzard must be nerfing the atmosphere.
The console wars have begun again.
Yeah,
definitely. Is that the title?
People are so stubborn to the end.
I think we just need to have you in front of a camera making a video about why exclusives are not that important.
Dude, it's coming. It's coming. I cannot stand the exclusives argument. It is getting really thin, as are the exclusives themselves.
Yeah, even some of the stuff that they announced there, they're not even really exclusive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's becoming something that's just not a thing anymore. Like exclusives are going the way of the dinosaur. I guess you'll kind of always have like Spider-Man and stuff like that, right? But God of War maybe. But even those, I feel there's going to be a lot of pressure to get it on PC. And guess what?
What's
if
that?
You run it on PC, it runs on Windows 10. Do you know what else runs on Windows 10?
What's that?
Xbox.
That's right, it does. When Sony announced their they showed off their the first thing, the Final Fantasy game. The very first thing that came up was it was just basically saying it was on a PC like right away, and Twitch chat like slowed down enough so people started seeing that message and the on the video about it being only PC only, and everyone was just, there was LMAOs all over the place. Like, how are you going to come in like that and say for your event and show off it saying that this was all done on a PC made to emulate the PS5? My God, that was so funny.
This is made on a PC, powered by Windows 10. Oh, ouch!
Yeah, I mean they're already using Microsoft's Azure cloud service for PlayStation Now. So, I mean, it's just, I mean we'll get them all. You know, so they'll come over and join. I
guess I have a little bit of confusion about this. I wonder if other people do too. But the Xbox All Access Ultimate, which I am a subscriber of,
yes,
that Xbox Gold is included in that, right? Which is the service.
That's everything.
So I feel like we're really getting a very good service, and I have a feeling, and I don't, obviously Microsoft would never actually say this, but because Sony has switched over to their servers, I almost feel like we're essentially getting gold for free off the backs of PlayStation users.
Exactly. Not even kidding. That like, oh, that's true. It's funny and it's true. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
All we need now is the Scarlet Project Scarlet edition. Like, okay, so did you see what happened like right afterwards? Like the announcement, not the announcement, the show, maybe like an hour, I think, after, or maybe two. GameStop, Target, Best Buy, and I can't remember what other site. They all went on sale. The PS5, they sold it early. And within a period of about 20 minutes, maybe not even that, it was maybe just a few minutes, it was sold out everywhere. And so there was hardly anybody that well, I mean, a lot of people got them, right? But there's a lot of people who didn't, and a lot of people are really, really mad about that. Apparently, there was some kind of miscommunication, and so now what everyone's talking about is, you know, the exclusives that are not really exclusive, but this whole bullshit that Sony just pulled. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I tweeted about this on the @Reactive Reload Twitter.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah, a little bit. So it looks like Sony's only counterpunch, which is really the only thing that they have going at this point in time, is that they are the first to market in terms of pre-orders, because you can pre-order this thing as early as tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, they kind of screwed the pooch a little bit, and other people were kind of trying to get their hands on it a little bit earlier than that even.
Yeah. They're completely sold out now. Target is sold out on PS5. Best Buy is sold out. Best Buy is the only one now that has actually, it might have a couple. People keep refreshing and they're getting more stock in. GameStop is like apparently done. Is like they're completely sold out.
Yeah, and we knew too that Sony was doing a limited launch to begin with. They were already kind of artificially capping how many consoles that they were going to throw out there.
Yeah, it wasn't
like Microsoft is really trying to throw the kitchen sink.
Yeah. Well, there were a couple of days ago. There was the rumor of the they're only being like they were going to cut their numbers by 4 million to ship, and so but Sony came back and said that that article from whatever was fake. It wasn't real. It was basically like fake news. So, but I don't know. Like it had to come from somewhere. People are like looking at the shipments costs and what all they have to do. I don't know where the 4 million came from. That's a pretty precise number. It's a big number, but it's also pretty exact. Like, how did they get to 4 million in this fake information? Like, where did it come from? It had to come from somewhere. I don't know where. But that was shortly after Xbox. That was like I guess a week after Xbox said, yeah, we're going to be $4.99. It's so funny because like I was saying this a lot. Like I started the hashtag better console same price weeks ago. I knew that was going to happen. Like, and
you called that.
Hell yes, I did. Thank you. I knew that was going to happen. I was even like a little bit. I was even like a week off with the announcement too, with NASA finding microbial life, right. Or the Series X, and then sure enough, the next couple of days, Series X, right, and then right after that, there could be life on Venus.
Yeah.
Oh,
you were on it. You're the Prophet Morgan. We might have to change your gamer tag from the Irish Cowboy to the Prophet Morgan.
The Prophet. Oh my gosh.
Before we get to the actual price of the PS5,
yeah,
I'm looking here. Some of the games that they announced were pretty interesting. Hogwarts Legacy looks like fun. It's also coming to Xbox though, so it's not an exclusive, but I'm sure that they'll have some sort of like exclusive deal.
I'd be lying if I'm not going to put on a robe and feel like a student at Hogwarts there. Like, I'd be lying if I said I'm not getting that game. Like my wife, when she was on her way to work today, I'm like, you're gonna want to see this trailer. I'll show it to you when you get off. And I'm like, she's like, okay, whatever, blah blah blah. Like, I'm out. Like, she has no idea. Because 2 years ago it leaked that game was going to be coming out soon, and it was going to be someone was working on like a Hogwarts MMO type of deal, like a big open world game like this. And man, it looks good. I'm not even kidding.
It looks really good.
It looks. I just hope I can like change my clothes like a little bit. We can make our own guys and stuff. Like Skyrim gave us a little taste of that. And at the Wizard Academy that they had there.
You could always just get a lightning bolt tattooed to your forehead.
Yeah,
you really
sure.
want to go all out.
Oh yeah, that's right. That might freak people out though.
They'll all get the reference. Harry Potter's big enough.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but when you mentioned that game, I just got all excited because it really looks fun.
No, that's part of my job here. Is that I'll mention something. I'd like to hear your thoughts about it. It's really fun doing this show with you. Because I like it throughout the week. We don't really talk much until we get to the show. Like we'll kind of text back and forth or whatever. But for the most part, we leave it to the show, and we have no idea what it is that we're going to talk about. So like, I'll just write some things down. I'll be like, I wonder what Morgan thinks about this.
We've been so busy, like looking up rumors and leaks and stuff like that. It's weird when we do have free time and we're not waking up every day praying to God we didn't miss some kind of reveal. Then it's like, okay, so what do you do with this hole in your day now, or multiple holes in your day that you used to get online and search for information and have all these tabs open and stuff like that. And today, man, people who weren't ready to pre-order Sony, gosh, man, I can't even imagine how they're feeling right now. Like, I was trying to help people out too on Facebook earlier and send a couple links out, let them know, like, hey, if you want to get this thing, here's where you can get it right now. But like that, literally, it was my worst fear today. If this happened with the Series X, man, I would have a heart attack. Like, because what happened today to PlayStation fans was my biggest fear that would happen as an Xbox fan. And sure enough, oh my God, I can't imagine how they feel right now.
Yeah, to me, Sony has really been pretty weak throughout this whole process. Like we talked before on one of our episodes about how Microsoft's Xbox has done a really good job of just rolling with the punches. Like, whatever happened, they seem like they're prepared for it.
Yeah.
Whereas Sony, that it doesn't seem to be the case. Like, they seem very arrogant, very cocky. Like, they're like almost feel like they have this in the bag. They're like, just look at the sales numbers. We're going to whoop Microsoft's ass again. Just like we do every time. But maybe just because of how popular Sony is in Japan, but if you're just judging it based on how they've handled this, I mean, Microsoft should far and away outsell them. And the only thing that they have to say is, like you said, better console, same price.
That's right.
Which leads us to the PlayStation 5 is $499, just like the Xbox Series X. And the digital edition, which is just minus a Blu-ray drive, which you might as well just pay the extra $100 and get a really nice Blu-ray drive. Because it's not like Sony has bad Blu-ray drives, and it's better than Xbox's Blu-ray drive.
Absolutely.
You might as well just cop to the extra $100, but their digital edition is only $399, so that puts them $100 over the Xbox Series S, which I think that's going to be a really big selling point for people. Is the next generation of console is only $300 away.
Absolutely, I still think $399 is a really good value, especially for the all digital edition. Like it makes you kind of wonder what the whole Project Dante thing was about when that leak from 343 that they were testing like another Xbox console. I wonder, like, there was the whole Xbox Series V that came out, like, and I guess it was fake. I don't know, but Microsoft doesn't have like an all digital edition unless it's the Series S. That's what they're talking, But like the if you want to get like the Series X, so maybe that's where a lot of this compromise came in. They didn't make an all digital edition for the Series X.
And the S doesn't.
Right.
Excuse me. Right. The S doesn't have a disk drive, so it is all digital.
Yeah, so that would be kind of like the compromise. But with Sony, like, they still have a decent console at $499, but then they can drop it down again. Then it drops down to $399 without the disc. So, I mean, how much more powerful? I want to find out how much more powerful the PS5 is compared to the Series S, because they were saying that like the processor's faster on the Series S. So that would be really, really good value if that's the case. Plus, a library of thousands of games on Game Pass. God, that's amazing.
So the Game Pass thing is, I feel it's like really, really important. And
it is. Oh yeah.
Xbox seems to be going out of their way to make everything friendly.
Yeah.
With all the backwards compatibility too. So like everything is going to be backwards compatible to the point where you can play with your friends. Do you know if that's the case with the PlayStation 5? Because I've
PlayStation 5 will not be
much about it.
Right. Yeah, it will not be as backwards as compatible as Xbox. They were hoping, there was rumors that it was going to be when Microsoft was touting their Game Pass and how all that stuff would go on, and so a lot of Sony fans would be like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be backwards compatible." There were even a few articles saying it would be with most games. But coming to find out, the PS5 will not be fully backwards compatible like with the older PlayStation console games. So, like, maybe some PS4 games, but there's a specific cutoff, and I can't remember what the reason is for the cutoff. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I see a graphic here that I'm going to tweet out.
Nice.
Real quick, it kind of has a comparison of all of them. So
maybe
yes, the PS5 is definitely better than the Series S. That is not up for debate.
Right.
But it's not that much better.
I think it's going to be a great choice for a lot of people.
I agree.
I think people are
definitely going to increase
the PS5 too.
Xbox's big knock against them, their accessibility, because the Xbox One X was so expensive.
Yeah.
Which it also was $500, which is kind of crazy to think about, that something that's vastly more powerful is also $500.
Right. Well, that's because not a lot of people realize we have stepped into next gen. Is we're going to get all this stuff for relatively the same amount of price, if not better, because NVIDIA was the one who really set the bar. Now, when they first talked about it months ago or last year, that people were going to be buying a lot, and they were projected a lot of NVIDIA stocks. Like, I was like, oh shit. Like, if they're actually saying that now, then it might be like a really big jump. But they are really the ones who, because like it goes back to the whole thing. Consoles are always going to be a few steps behind, PC gaming cards, and with that comes pricing too. And especially right now, there's no way like people are going to get everyone to convince them to spend $600, $700 on just like the console, and then start buying more stuff on top of that. Like, there is a price and there is a line. And that's what we've seen here. Like, because it's twice, 3 or 4 times as powerful as the Xbox X, the Xbox Series X. Everyone needs to look at that, and I guess be really thankful for that, because that's like it could be worse. But at the same time, like where does that end if they keep increasing the pricing on consoles? When's that going to stop? It can't. if that's the route they go, it can't stop. So they really do have to kind of dial it back here. And there was going to be a moment where we just stepped over the line, and we are right here, and it's looking beautiful.
It's our time.
It's our time. That's right. I just don't know what's next. With when the One X came out, the hard disk drive, the spinning drive, and made everybody get Samsung T5s, that we knew that SSDs were, when Xbox did a poll and we're asking everybody, what do you want to see in the next Xbox, and we're like, oh, SSDs, that's like the big thing, and we got that. But what are we going to get next? Because with NVIDIA, it was maybe better ray tracing and stuff like that. Maybe better VRAM. That would be great.
I know what we're going to get.
What's that?
They're already hinting at it. We're going to be able to grill food on top of our Xboxes.
Yeah. I hope so.
Just like how the Series S appears to
grill some steaks on that Series S. Mike Ybarra said that his version, the One S that the Series S that he saw didn't have that, so that grill was added in after. It was just something they wanted to include on it. So that's pretty cool. They always playing with designs.
I don't know why they would want to include that. I think, it looks so. If you take that off, it looks so sleek and nice because it's so small, and the white design.
Oh yeah,
I think looks really good. PlayStation definitely, I think, has the design battle won. It looks really cool. I love the way that the PS5 looks. The Xbox Series X is a more powerful console, but it looks like a refrigerator.
Yeah, the controller on the PS5, man. I want to get one. I want to make it work with the Xbox. Xbox Pope had some really, or at Xbox Pope on Twitter, he's had he's making hundreds and hundreds of those little custom edition Series X's and PS5s, and he's made some really, especially the Miles Morales one that he made. Oh my goodness, that one looked amazing. But I'm about to go off on a different topic, so I need to dial it back. But the PS5 controller, to me it looks like something that the Xbox controller would have eventually turned into a couple years down the line. And that, to me, I think was done completely intentional, because it's basically the shape of an Xbox controller, right? It no longer looks like a PlayStation controller in any way. So the professional versions of those controllers are going to look even more amazing, and they're going to feel even more amazing. The D-pad placement, I would still not prefer where it is, especially for games like Monster Hunter. I literally cannot play Monster Hunter on PlayStation just because of that D-pad placement, because it's such an important thing when swapping through items fighting Godzilla. But it literally looks like a futuristic Xbox controller, and you gotta give them props for that. And I'm sure Xbox might be a little salty about that, because I could totally see Xbox making something like that in a few years.
Yeah, it really started with the Xbox 360, I feel, because the Xbox 360 controller to this day is my favorite controller. I feel like they absolutely nailed it.
It's very nice.
I love my Elite controller, my Elite 2 controller.
Yeah,
I love it. I absolutely love it. But
it's so good.
There's something, and I think the reason why I like it, especially the first one, is because it has weight to it. I'm somebody who likes weight to my controller. And with the battery pack on the back of the Xbox 360 controllers, it always had that. And then the implementation of the bumpers and the triggers. Which I guess the original Xbox had the triggers, but they didn't have the bumpers. They had those weird white and black buttons. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Those were awkward and as hell. The controller was big as hell, and it didn't feel comfortable.
Well, it's come a long way, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. And then PlayStation kind of copied that with the triggers, because for a long time they just had the double bumpers.
Yep.
So they've kind of been borrowing from each other. Xbox borrowed the bumpers. PlayStation was like, oh, that trigger really good idea. Now they're becoming indistinguishable. But I think the basic shape of the 360 controller is what we've been left with. That kind of molds. It's evolved a little bit, but,
right?
That kind of molds
the grips, especially.
I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it.
It looks really, really solid. It's that weighted controller with the Xbox. It's almost like a compensator.
Some of the kids out there might not know, but the worst controller ever has got to be the Nintendo 64. I'm wearing a Nintendo 64 hat as we're talking. But that Nintendo 64 controller was atrocious. You had to have three arms to utilize it completely.
Good grief. It did get pretty frustrating playing No Mercy in WrestleMania. With that controller. I can't believe they even made games like that back then on the 64. And looking at wrestling games today, just looking at any kind of fighting game like that today, God, it would be so much easier. The only thing I liked on the original PlayStation controller was sniping and Destiny on there. It really felt it felt good with sniping in particular, but it just does not compare to the Elite, especially when I have my Elite 2 hooked up to the PC. And like it's the trigger locks for me. I really think those are awesome. I don't play with vibration on PC, but I do on console. A lot of pros don't play with vibration, but at the same time, I think the new PS5 controller with whatever feedback that they have going on there is going to be pretty nice. Because on some of the reloading games, like I don't want to keep bringing up Destiny, but Destiny Battlefield 1, you could feel the type of gun you were having if you had vibration on, and I think they're going to be trying to push that a little bit, because it really almost makes you feel like you're in the game when you can actually feel like the neck of the gun or the grip of the gun like landing in your hand while you're reloading. That is insane to me. Like that is just, I don't know how some games are able to do that, but that is definitely going to be in the future of gaming, whether it's on their gloves or whether it's on the controller. People should really try the vibration out in some games before like just getting a new game and not even turning it on, because there's some cool things they're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I only remember it being good for like Mario sometimes.
It was like always weird with like those old WrestleMania. But I guess my basic point was just how far we've come in the design of controllers, where now everybody kind of has the agreed upon feel to them. I know I prefer mouse and keyboard overall. I know that you are a rebel and you fight back the PC overlords, and you still continue to use the controller.
I've got the clips to prove it. I've got to send you these. I've got to find a good way to send you some, because I'm getting some really good results with this too. But Division 2 feels really nice on mouse and keyboard on PC. Yeah. But I mean,
PUBG too. PUBG feels fantastic.
Absolutely, especially like those slow kind of heavy guns in PUBG. I played it for a little bit on there. The Sony was showing off their almost version. I don't even want to call it like a competitor to Game Pass, because when you get a library of over 1,000 games, and then you look at Sony's their collection that they have there, it's good that they're getting something for free with PlayStation Plus, like Monster Hunter World. That game is on Game Pass right now, and it has been for a while, so that's really awesome. But Sony didn't have anything like that, and Sony has a lot of cool exclusives in Monster Hunter World on the PS4 Pro, and so I'm going to be able to check that game out. Whenever they decide to launch it on the PlayStation, I might be able to get some of these like little cool little doodads here and there. What I really want to see out of this next generation is going to be more cross save games. I wish Division 2 did it. Destiny is just another shining example of how you do it. I could literally pick up my game anywhere on the PlayStation, PC, or the Xbox at any point in time and just switch over without any issues. And I really wish Division 2 would do that. I really wish Monster Hunter World would do that. It's just,
it's going to be the big helpful staple. And convenient for gamers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, it is weird too, because we talked a little bit about how the exclusive argument is falling short. Technically speaking, Xbox does have the most exclusives between the two consoles.
Yep.
In just terms of overall numbers, and they're all coming to Game Pass, which is, man, it's so good. But
it's people copy pasta, exclusives. That's their argument, and they say that, and it's like, okay, well, you want to update that a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, the only thing that Sony is still holding out on just a little bit is just the quality of the exclusives, because there are two games. These are their heavy hitters that they announced. We already knew about Spider-Man with Miles Morales.
Oh yeah,
obviously that's been the cover child for the PlayStation 5. But the other big one that they named today, after sitting in that loading screen for an hour where you just saw the triangle, square, X, was God of War is coming back.
Yep.
God of War. It looks like it'll be called Ragnarok. It just says Ragnarok was coming, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I specifically got a PlayStation last time to play God of War.
I'm going to be playing God of War next week. I think I'm gonna record the gameplay and put it on there. I haven't got to check it out yet. I've been waiting for like a good deal and a good reason to do it. So I'm
did you not jump on that deal that I was telling you about GameStop had?
I couldn't. There was an issue with like shipping for some reason. When I got to like the shipping on the checkout, and GameStop like thought I was on a different account than what I was on, and it wouldn't let me. And I was just doing it at the last minute, and I messed up. But like I'm pretty sure there's gonna be. I think God of War actually is included into that collection, that PlayStation Plus collection. So if I can't find a decent copy, then I might just hold off for that and stream that whole deal.
Yeah, because I got The Last of Us, the original, not the Bigot Sandwich one. The Last of Us,
exclusives.
God of War. Yeah, God of War, and what was the other big one? I'm blanking on it. I got Injustice 2 was one of them, but I got each game for like $8. GameStop was like running a deal on like pre-leased and some new, in fact. And God of War was one of the new ones that I got for like $8.
I want to get back into fighting games like that.
For a total of like $25.
That's such a good deal. That is such a good deal.
They're all mostly single player games, with the exception of Justice. So
right, and those unfortunately will last you a few hours, and they're always going to be fun to come back and play. But at the end of the day, people will be coming back to the multiplats time and time again. Their like replayability on some of these games is really awesome, but Sony is just they're getting way too woke with their exclusives now, especially with the Last of Us 2, the Miles Morales thing, and what was the other? What was it? I was thinking of. I can't think of it. But like they are obviously going in a certain direction and leaning towards a certain attitude. Especially they want to carry over in the next gen. And I just want to play the games. I want to focus on multiplats. I don't want to focus on a PlayStation exclusive that people were like, oh, look at our exclusives, and then you look at it and then it's like woke trash.
Yeah,
that I just don't want to get into.
I want to play a game to escape reality.
Yeah,
lectured. I don't want to be lectured.
Right. Maybe a bigot sandwich, but I'm fucking hungry.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. About things that like objectively I know are false anyway. Right.
Yeah.
We could always do a show, maybe at some point, a different show about why those things are objectively false.
We have to.
But it's just I'm so tired of being lectured to all the time. Like no. Like, not all people of a specific origin are bad.
Right.
Like, give it a rest already. Like, and just because you have tits and a vagina doesn't make you strong.
And it's
like, that's
easier.
Not how all of this works.
It's just easier for them to address everybody like this, it's like, well, why don't they take the time to pick out the people to give these messages to? But they don't. They won't, because it's not easy. And
it's because the revolution has no gender.
Ubisoft. Thank you. That's another thing. Like I'm already like choosing my words carefully with them, because it's like we're gonna do something on them too. They're not even gonna be safe with it. When I literally cannot repeat something I said in a Twitch, something that they said that I was literally just repeating it. I got my post removed. Unreal.
LOL, you sarcastic, cheeky bastard. I'm actually really surprised that they pushed the Hogwarts thing so much, because J.K. Rowling has been into a bit of hot water with the woke folk.
Yeah, Inside Gaming made a joke about that too.
Recently. Yeah, so I wonder if Sony will do the classic Sony thing and just maybe censor her name out of the entire thing. That's what they do. They censor video games.
It looks like they're pulling back from J.K. Rowling a little bit, so they didn't use the whole Harry Potter theme or whatever. But I don't think that was. I think it was initially just going to be like a Hogwarts kind of deal anyway. Like when I heard the rumors about this a few years ago, it was already going to be just Hogwarts basically. And you're going to, because they want people to make their own experience. They don't want you to feel like you're playing another Harry Potter game, which thank God. My wife, by the way, she loved those games, especially on Kinect. She would always play those games. There was one that literally made me nauseous when I played it, but she had such a fun time with that. She's probably the only person I ever know who loved the Kinect, and she really wanted to get it. But it would suck 10% of your GPU as soon as you turned it on. So you literally had to go into the settings and turn it off to even like have a fully functional Xbox. Man, we've come a long way, haven't we?
Yeah. I was just gonna say that.
God. Like the hardware that sucks up the power of your GPU to acid solid state drives. I can't believe it. But they're like, Inside Gaming was saying that there was just going to be that they're distancing themselves from J.K. Rowling because of political stuff or whatever. But I just, like I was saying, I think it was just always going to be Hogwarts.
The crazy thing is too is that, and we don't have to really get into the nitty gritty of what she said, but what she said was not even all that controversial, even within their own circles. You know what I mean? Like it's very weird to me how they like you're an ally one day and a pariah the next, all because you didn't follow to the exact letter exactly what it is.
Right. People are just hypersensitive.
Like you had 2% wrong think today, and now you are the enemy. Because if you don't accept every last thing, you are not allowed in the religious altar of the woke crowd.
That's right. Yep. You're not.
Which is what it is. I mean, they're Michael Malice says this, but there's jihadis without the testosterone. Right? Like it's a fundamentalist religion, and nothing you say to them will make them reconsider their position, because of course it's not about making sense, it's about conversions.
Yep.
So fuck them. That's all I have to say about
That's
that.
Right. Demon Souls. Look, I've never played a Demon Souls game in my life, but I think I will when that comes out. It looked really good. It like the weight of the character move. It was very linear. I hate linear games, but at the same time, this one looks like it might be an exception, kind of like Jedi Fallen Order was, which I'm installing that tonight, and I'm going to check it out. I cannot wait to see how it looks on this OLED. I think that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, so I miss the old days. You remember Ninja Gaiden back in the day? If you played it on like the easiest difficulty, you couldn't complete the game. And then like if you completed it on a difficulty that that wasn't the highest, it would still call you a pussy for not doing it on the most difficult difficulty.
Like almost like Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
God, well, man,
step your game up.
That's right. That's right. Like I gotta go back to that game, and like especially when the Series X comes out, I cannot wait to go back on and play those games again. Man, they're gonna upscale and they're gonna look good, and maybe I'll be able to finally go on like what I don't know what the difficulty setting was. It like Blitzkrieg or something? I can't remember what Timmy was saying.
Yeah,
when I was talking to him about
when my child is born, I will judge my success as a parent solely on what difficulty they start off the game on. If they pick easy, I will feel as though I have failed as a parent. If they pick the hardest difficulty, I'm going to be very proud. I might actually cry. You might see like a tiny tear roll down.
That's right. And no strategy guides. Regardless to how good the book is.
No, so hear me out. The one strategy guide was Knights of the Old Republic, because they had some really confusing puzzles. I just needed it to get past that puzzle.
There used to be some good tips in this, huh?
The first time without it, but after that, I went back. I read the strategy guide so I could get all the stuff, all the loot.
Right now, the Wikia is what people use now. Every game has one of those. Every single one. Yeah,
the one that they had that I used was from Game Banshee, and that was a really good one. I don't know if you've ever been on that website. It's very
maybe
it almost reminds you of RuneScape. It's very old school.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I do. I think I do. Everyone thought the God of War 2 was going. The trailer was like a new Elder Scrolls game, like the new Skyrim or something. A lot of people were saying that in the chat. I was like, it's probably going to be God of War. Like I didn't even play the first God of War, and I knew it was going to be God of War 2.
Yes. Oh, were there any other games that you saw at the showcase that you were interested in?
Man, we talked about Harry Potter. I mentioned Demon Souls. That one looks really good. I'm not really too interested in the glorified DLC that is Miles Morales, but like it's just gosh, it just that's a topic for another time. But wow, what was there were some other games. Oh, one thing I wanted to say about Demon Souls, that when they got to the monster at the end, the boss or whatever, when he hit the monster with the sword or sliced him, stabbed him, whatever you want to call it, you could see new scars on the monster's like belly that you didn't notice that weren't there before. So you would see the sword hit him and it would scar the monster, and that scar, I was looking at it, it would stay there. It would be a new one. So if you like, and it was completely judged by where he hit the body. I don't know if that was a thing from the other Demon Souls because I never played them before, but I like seeing stuff like that because it it just makes it that much more real, as opposed to hitting an enemy and them like flinching backwards and then there be no wound at all anywhere on them that you did this. But apparently there's just all this blood everywhere. It's like, well, where'd you stab him? Under his armor?
Yeah, I guess the other game that I saw that piqued my interest a little bit was just the special edition Devil May Cry 5. I've always loved the Devil May Cry series. Those games are always fun.
They're killing it, man. The Capcom, really Monster Hunter World, Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil. That was another one that actually the opening of that one looked really, really good. Please change the controls in Resident Evil. I know people say that's what makes it scary, but it's too scary for me with the controls because I can't do anything with those. It was literally the only thing that turned me off. Yeah, I do.
Helpless. They're like, I can't aim. Why can I not aim and move at the same time?
God, it's so weird. Why would they do that? I just don't get it. I'm all for authenticity, but man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's just the way Resident Evil is. I love it. I love the awkward angles where you're trying to shoot. This tiny ass laser telling if you're on their head or not. Makes it very difficult.
I hope we start getting into more games like that, as far as like, these single player story games that people like playing over and over again, like Skyrim games, like, because I've been living in the looter shooter genre for way too long now.
Yeah.
And I'm so addicted to those kind of games. I love that kind of stuff, right? But man, it just gets so toxic with the community, and it really takes away from what a lot of people got into gaming for. But if they can find a way that a game is just fun to play a lot, like Division 2, when it came out, that was almost there. But man, they made every single wrong decision after that game came out.
That's what they do. That's what they did to the Division 1.
Right. Yeah. And I almost think they want to do it, put your tinfoil hats on, but I almost think they want to do that on purpose. I don't think they want to be a games as a service game. And like we could literally do a whole show on the mistakes that Massive has made with the Division 2. But like, there is no one who can convince me that when they did the rollbacks on characters' accounts for gear that they legitimately grinded for a month, like wow, and they based it on when they heard about the damage glitch, only when they themselves heard about it. Like, how in the world could someone set that type of bar? Like, wow. Like, there are people who have still not been back to that game since they did that. And like, they'll peek in every once in a while to see if something's changed, and the loot will still be trash. Like, but man, the loot used to be so good in that game. But like, they are a shining example of how toxic looter shooters have been now, and how I just wanted to go back to that thing where the weekend would come around and you could just sit down in a game and a party with your friends and just play a fun game for a little bit. Maybe I will just start going back to the team deathmatch games like Call of Duty, like Battlefield, and like, all that sort of stuff.
Hop on Marvel's Avengers with me after this. It's a fun little chill game.
Marvel's Avengers.
Yes. It's chill. Everything's chill. Overwatch 2, when that finally comes out, Blizzard is doing their best to kill it before it comes out. That will be another fun.
So are they? Are people already worried about it?
Yeah, people are worried about it because so recently Blizzard has come up with some balancing changes that have been better, but their track record of balance changes have not been good. It's why they're losing so many people to games like Valorant, because games have this, especially big companies like Blizzard, and you and I have talked about this a lot. Games have this very annoying tendency to, rather than cater to the hardcore audience, they cater to the casuals, right? Like, so it's, this person is being picked, all the time, so we need to nerf them. Instead of, well, why are people picking them like this? And maybe it's not because they're really all that good. Maybe it's just the best option available. Maybe that we should do this. And Blizzard's balance philosophy for that game specifically, I don't want to get into too big of a tangent, is that they want every character to be good in every situation, which is, number one, just not possible when you have, 30 characters. And number two, that's not balance. Balance is some characters are very good based upon the geometry of the map because you've made your map so interesting.
Yep.
Some of them are very good, and on other maps and stuff, maybe they're not so good. And in certain situations, certain heroes shine. That is good balance. There is a niche in the little ecoscape of the meta where a specific hero will fit very, very well in like a very interesting way. That's very good balance. And when you try to like constantly change them because the pick rates and stuff like that are low, what you're signaling is that we don't really care what, you know, the hardcores want, which would be probably heroes that have a very high skill ceiling to be at the top of the meta because yes, you know, if they're difficult to play, you should be able to get the most out of them. And if you're very good, those should be at the top of the meta. Whereas as down the line, maybe some other easier characters to play are played more in the lower levels just because you maybe they're more consistent. So they have a higher floor, but they don't quite have the ceiling. So as you kind of scale up, it changes a little bit. That's what you want, but that's not what these games do. And obviously Division is part of this problem, or has had this problem. Destiny has had this problem. Call of Duty has had this problem. They're catering to the people who are there to pick up the game for a few months and then leave anyway. Yeah, at the expense of the people who will play your game for years if you just acknowledge them from time to time.
I'll introduce another element into that and also say that as far as like nerfing and balancing goes, there are times where it will be a lot of streamers, a lot of people who have like hundreds of thousands of viewers and stuff, who you know, millions of clicks, millions of views, and they'll start complaining about a certain hero that they're not in the mood to play against, or a certain character, and like they'll literally shout things like balanced and then like throw their keyboard and then storm out of the room and say things like that. And so like their fan base will start saying, oh, well, this needs to be nerfed or whatever, you know. But it's really, a lot of the times it's these fans on Twitch who are wanting, you know, their streamer to play well. And if he's mad about this certain thing, then they got to be mad about it too. I've seen weapons nerfed that didn't need to be nerfed before at all. I mean, for the most part, people are like, we'll buff everything else so we can rebalance it. You know, you don't want to hammer in all the nails. Like as far as casuals go, Bungie completely admitted to that's who they were catering to when Destiny 2 came out, and they've made a lot of changes to try and change that, whole narrative about this game is for casuals. This is, you know, who we want to cater to, and they didn't even see themselves as a games as a service game, I guess, at the time, but they really were, and they had been for such a long time, and to see things like that you love playing, that you love using a lot, all of a sudden it gets nerfed for no reason other than people complaining about it too much in forums. Because like what they need to do, like if they're going to make a big change and a big balance pass in these games, I want to find out exactly, not exactly the name or the address of the people who are, you know, complaining about these. And like, cause they're like, well, people are complaining, you know, we want to make a lot of people happy. I'm going to call bullshit on that. I think all these companies have their own schedule of when they want to nerf things, but they really make it seem like they're trying to, like, you know, listen to their community. I think they legitimately change things when the community wants it. Like Monster Hunter World, there was this thing with slicing ammo. It was too powerful and it was taking out these monsters big time, and it was breaking their parts. And a lot of people came together and said, hey, this is too easy. People just want to use this ammo, when really it didn't even matter. There's not a PvP game. It really wasn't ruining the experience for anybody. It was just nerfing ammo because a lot of people didn't find it challenging. But that argument was by people who were like streaming it a lot, who were like really popular in the community, and they didn't want to see, they wanted to feel like there was a little bit more of a skill gap, which I can appreciate that. In the end, it wasn't that big of a deal because they buffed a lot of other things. Like, but that took like a year to happen. But that's just one example of, we need to, when they're going to make a decision to change and balance the game, it needs to be very carefully done. We need to get an idea of like how many people exactly, maybe a poll or a vote, promote this poll for a couple of weeks and then let people click yes or no or something, just something easy like that. Because for a company, especially like Massive with Division 2, to say that, well, we're trying to listen to the community, and, you know, a lot of people don't want to see this gun in the dark zone or wherever it is. It's just, I smell bullshit when companies get like that.
There's also the distinct possibility that people can be wrong. You know what I mean? Like they could think one way, even the vast majority of people. In fact, I would say that this is usually the case. The vast majority of people can think one way, and that's not like doing the thing that they want could absolutely ruin everything. So companies do have this tendency to overcorrect.
Yeah.
And they see something, and like I said, the numbers that they base it on they're so vague. You know what I mean? And I mean, maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. Maybe they really do deep dive into it. But like the answers that they give us are so vague. It's like, oh, well, this hero's pick rate was really low, or oh, you know, the percentage of people that are using this gun. Low. Yeah. It's like, well, have you ever considered that maybe people haven't figured out yet the best way to utilize these weapons? Or like, have you ever considered that maybe, like in the case of Overwatch, that this hero is very good at their very specific role? That role just doesn't pop up as frequently as the more utilitarian heroes that can be used in more situations. And that part of it becomes very frustrating, and it eventually turns people off. It's why the Overwatch League, you have pros leaving, announcing that they're retiring from the Overwatch League to go play Valorant. That's not a good look for you. That's not a good look for you at all.
Good Lord.
I mean, it was the league MVP too. It was Jake OW. I imagine he probably has to change it. He still does Overwatch stuff now, but he announced his retirement and started playing Valorant.
Good grief. I still haven't got to check out Valorant. Still haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
Nope, not yet.
Yeah, I got in there and absolutely got destroyed because, of course, I'm not not that good NPC yet, and those are like CS:GO pros that are playing that game at the moment, where like everybody is so good.
That's the graphics upgrade CS:GO needed, was Valorant.
Yeah.
I hope they tune some of that up, because it was looking really bland when I was looking at some videos on it. But you know, who knows? Looks like we're going to have to wrap it up there. Thank you guys for coming. Hopefully there's going to be a lot more. Hope you liked it. You can follow the show at Reactive Reload on Twitter. You can follow me at the Irish Cowboy, no take backsies, and crossover at Reactive Brandon. You guys have a good day, night, whatever the hell time it is you're watching this. We fucking love you.